Hello students, I hope that all of you are fine and healthy. So it's my earnest request to all of you to please stay inside your homes and please study carefully. So in the previous video, I discussed with you some word meanings and the textual grammar. Today I shall discuss the textual grammar in detail. And the topic which I chose for the textual grammar was parts of speech. So today also we will discuss those things in detail. And before that thing, I decided to discuss some word meanings with you. The first word is that tempting. It means attractive. And yesterday also I told you that I will teach you how to use the words in sentences so that you can learn make sentences. The cook looks very tempting. Tempting means the thing that is attractive, that attracts you. Look at the picture how the girl looks at the cake. It means the tempting flavor or the attractive flavor or the attractive thing of this cake attracts the girl, and that's why she is looking at this cake like this. Everyone likes cake. All of you also like cake. I know this thing. So this is the meaning of tempting. Tempting means the thing which is very attractive. The second word, poured, past form of pour. To make a liquid or other substance flow from a container in a continuous stream, especially by holding the container at an angle. And the sentence which I made, the sentence is, it is an interrogative sentence. Will you pour the tea? Okay. So, I thought that all of you understood the meaning of poured. Look at this picture. Yes, the man or the woman whoever in this picture, that man is pouring tea into the cup. And this is the thing which I would like to show you. I hope that all of you understood the meaning of poured. How the man is pouring the liquid or the tea from the container, that is the teapot, into the cup. Now the third number, spoonfuls. As much as can be contained in a spoon. All of you know what is a spoon? So, as much as you can keep or as much as can be contained in a spoon. This is the meaning of the word spoonfuls. And the sentence is, I added 2 spoonfuls of sugar in the curry. Look at the picture. Yes. This is the picture, or this is the picture illustration of the word spoonfuls. Yes, that means in other words or in simple words, spoonful means how much can be contained in a spoon. Yes, I hope that now you can understand what is the meaning of the word spoonfuls, and you will also be able to make another sentence using the word spoonfuls or tempting or poured, like that. Number 4. Eager, very interested and excited about something, or keen. The synonym of eager is keen. The sentence which I made using the word eager is, she was very eager to see the drama. You can make another sentence also using the word eager or keen. Now I will show you another picture for the word eager. Yes, you can see at the picture that the girl is very much excited or happy. Maybe she was very eager to answer the question which was asked by her teacher or by her mother or by her tutor or by her parents. That's why maybe the girl knows the answer, and that's why she is very eager to answer the question. And the synonym of eager I already told. The synonym of eager is keen. Now 5th number, whipped. To stir cream or curd etc. very quickly until it becomes stiff. So the meaning of whipped is to stir the cream or to stir the cream or curd etc. very quickly until it becomes stiff. Here the sentence which I made, he whipped the cream to make it stiff. You can say, you can also make another sentence. Try to make another sentences at your home using different words. Now look at the picture, how you can stir a liquid or how you can stir the curd or cream to make it stiff. And this was the way the cook also in the prose or in the story Wonderful Waste whipped the curd, and And after that, after whipping the curd, the cook added the curd in the or to the cooking vegetables or in the curry. Now the E number question that I gave you one previous video. So the E number question was, name the ingredients which are used to make the new dish avial. Yes, I asked you what are the ingredients that can be used to make the dish avial. I know that all of you know, but still I need to discuss the answers with you. The ingredients are, look at the picture, green chili, coconut, garlic, curry leaves, curd, coconut oil and vegetable waste. All of you knows this thing that how the cook used these ingredients one by one and how he make paste out of this ingredients, some ingredients, and then he added step by step to make the wonderful dish avial. And this is the way the new dish or the fantastic dish of Kerala avial made. Now the most important question from this story, what do you learn from the story Wonderful Waste? Yes, this is the most important question from any prose or any poem. So whenever you read any prose or poem, what do you learn from that story or that poem? Here the question is that what do you learn from the story Wonderful Waste? The story gives us a very important lesson that we shouldn't waste anything. And we also get an idea of 3R from this story. So what is 3R? Reduce, reuse and recycle. Reduce means we should reduce wastage as much as possible. That means we shouldn't waste anything. Reuse means we should reuse the products as many times as possible. And recycle means recycle resources to the greatest possible extent. Here recycle means by using the recipe of avial we can make another dish also. Now the summary of the story. All of you are waiting for this one. Wonderful Waste. Once the Maharaja of Travancore made arrangements for a grand feast, he ordered the cook to make delicious dishes. As a Maharaja, it is his responsibility to investigate the preparations very carefully. And the Maharaja did also. You can see, yes, preparations very carefully. So in the afternoon, when he entered into the kitchen, he found vegetable scraps. All of you knows that he found vegetable scraps. The Maharaja became very angry with the cook, as the cook told that the vegetable scraps were waste and the cook was planning to throw the vegetable scraps. The Maharaja or the Maharaj didn't support the idea of throwing the vegetable scraps. He ordered the cook to find another way to use them. The cook washed and cleaned the vegetable scraps. Then he cut the vegetable scraps into long stripes. After cutting the vegetable scraps, he put them into a huge or big pot and placed the pot on the fire. Then he added the paste of fresh coconut and green chilies and garlic and salt to the cooking vegetables. After adding the paste, a tempting smell started coming from the pot. After some time, he thought of adding flavor. So he whipped some curd and added to it, and the new dish became ready, and everyone ate the new dish and enjoyed that dish very much, and that's why everyone admired and appreciated the dish a lot. Everyone became eager to know the name of the new dish. The cook thought for some time and named it avial. Yes, as the cook made the new dish and it became the traditional dish of Kerala, and that's why the name of the new dish was avial. Yes, now it's the time to discuss the textual grammar. What is textual grammar? All of you knows already that textual grammar means the grammar that we do from any text. Either it may be a prose or it can be a poetry also. Previously I discussed or I gave you only the general idea about the parts of speech. Today I shall discuss nouns, articles, determiners and pronouns in detail. So common nouns. Common nouns name some generic people or general people, places, things or ideas, and proper nouns for name specific people, places, things or ideas. Author, Leo Tolstoy. City, Paris. Planet, Neptune. Language, Spanish. So you can see that common nouns stand for any general name and proper nouns refers to the particular person. Now common nouns, you can see that here are the pictures of butterfly, bread, mango, orange. All these are general things and that's why they belong to the category of common nouns. I hope that now you can categorize, or now you can differentiate between which are proper nouns and which are common nouns. You can see that hat is there, caterpillar is there, knife is there. Now another categorization of noun is countable and uncountable nouns. Countable nouns. Countable nouns have a singular and plural form. We can count the countable nouns, and uncountable nouns have only one form. We cannot count it. Like butter, we cannot say butters. But book, we can pluralize the word, or we can get a plural form of the word book. Here are another some countable and uncountable nouns are there. Egg, we can say eggs, banana, bananas, olive, olives, burger, burgers. But milk, we can't say milks. Flour, we can't say flours. Salt, we can't say salt. Sugar, we can't say sugars. Jam, we cannot say jams. So we cannot pluralize, or we cannot get a plural form of the word or of the uncountable words. Now it's the time to discuss about material noun. See, metal, iron, gold, platinum, etc. Products measured in bulk: tea, sugar, rice, sweat. Geological bodies: mud, sand, granite, rock, etc. Natural phenomena: rain, dew, cloud, frost, mist, etc. Items manufactured: cloths, soap, rubber, paint, etc. These are the material noun. And what is the material noun? All of you know that material noun is a substance or a material or an ingredient we can see and touch, which is used for making things. Like gold, we use the gold for making golden ornaments. We use coal for the purpose of producing electricity. The window is made of glass. Here window is the common noun, and as the window is made of glass, glass is material noun. Now abstract noun. Abstract noun is a name that refers to a quality, idea or feeling. It is a thing that we cannot see or touch, but can only think of, hear or feel it. Yes, you can feel the abstract nouns, but we can't touch it. For example, honesty. Honesty refers to a quality of a person. You can feel the honesty of a person, but you can't touch the honesty. Belief refers to idea. Examples of some abstract noun. Feelings, for the category feelings and anxiety, fear, pleasure. States: freedom, chaos, misery. Emotions: anger, shock, sorrow. Qualities: courage, honesty, patience. Concepts: charity, comfort. Moments: birthday, marriage, death. So here are the different types of abstract nouns. These are the category and these are the examples. And after abstract noun, we will learn collective nouns. Collective noun is the name we give to a group of nouns to refer to them as one entity. For people, a class of students, an army of soldiers. Animals, a catch of fish, an army of ants. Then things, a group of islands, a galaxy of stars, a forest of trees, a fleet of ships. Now the article. Definition. An article is a word that modifies or describes the noun. It is used before the noun to show whether it refers to something specific or not. And the types of article, there are two types of articles. One is definite article, another is indefinite article. What are the definite article? To be clear, exact or obvious about something, and indefinite, something which is not clear, obvious or abstract. Articles a, an and the. A and an used for objects that are not specific or one of several things of a similar type. And the uses for specific objects or objects that both the speaker and the listener know. I need a phone. Can you give me the books on the table? Use a and an. Use the first time we introduce an object. Used when we mention the object again. Now we will learn pronouns. There are different types of pronouns. Yesterday I discussed personal pronoun, interrogative pronoun, reflexive pronouns. Personal pronouns are not only limited to people, can also refer to animals and objects. In grammatical sense, a personal pronoun is a pronoun that is related mainly to a particular person. Like I, you, we, Then demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns are used to show or identify one or a number of nouns that may be far or near in distance or time. They are only 4 in number, like these, that, these and that. These and that are singular demonstrative pronouns, and these and those are plural demonstrative pronouns. Like that is a beautiful house, like this way. After that, reflexive pronoun. We can use reflexive pronouns when the action done by the subject of a sentence reflects back on the subject or affects the subject only and nobody else. For example, Chintu prepared himself for the examination. Yes, reflexive pronouns means when the action done by the subject or by the subject of a sentence and it reflects back on the subject only. Reflexive pronouns are used when a person or thing is referring to the same person or thing. These are part of personal pronouns and end with self. For singular, myself. For plural, ourselves. Yourself will become yourselves. Himself will become himselves. Themselves will become themselves. And after reflexive pronoun, reciprocal pronouns. We use reciprocal pronouns when two or more people do the same thing. The boys are fighting one another. Tina and Mary are talking to each other. So you can easily understand that what are reciprocal pronouns. We use reciprocal pronouns when two or more people do the same thing. And what do we learn after reciprocal pronoun? After reciprocal pronoun, we will learn about indefinite pronoun. Indefinite pronoun means a pronoun that refers to a person or a thing without being specific. Without being specific means that is not particular or that is not specified. I have eaten everything in my fridge. I have nothing for breakfast. I need to find something. Anything would be okay. So here nothing is specified or nothing is particular. That's why these are indefinite pronouns. Relative pronouns. Now what are relative pronouns? Relative pronouns are used to join or relate different clauses together, like who, whom, which, whose. These are the examples of relative pronouns. For this class, for class 5, we will learn the personal pronouns, reflexive pronouns, interrogative and pronouns, and also the demonstrative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are question words used to inquire about person or thing that we do not know about. Yes, you can ask questions by using interrogative pronouns. And interrogative pronouns is used when asking question. It takes the place of a subject or object in the sentence. So it can be a subject also or it can be a object also. So already I told you for this class, for class 5, reflexive pronoun is too much important. So reflexive pronoun, personal pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, all these things you will learn very carefully. And students, you may think that why I am discussing all these things, because these are the textual grammar and you have to find it out that how many nouns, articles or determiners or pronouns or reflexive pronouns or proper nouns are there in the text. Wonderful West. Determiners. Determiners are used in front of nouns to indicate whether you are referring to something specific or something of a particular type. Determiners can be of possessive like my, our, your, his, her, ordinals like first, second, third, numerals 1, 2, 3, 10, 100, articles a and the, quantifiers many, some, like this way. So thank you very much students. In the PDF file you will get the answers of previous days textual grammar, and if you find more from your text you can write in your copy. So please study well. And one more thing, please do not go outside. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Thank you very much. Please stay at home.